Last month, I left work a little early to prepare for one of the biggest moments of my life. It's a rite of passage that virtually every father dreams about since hearing those first magic little words, "It's a boy." It was, of course, my not even 5-year-old son's first Little League baseball game. I went to pick up my son, Cody, one of the typically developing students in SARRC's community school, and headed for the parking lot. By the time that I had put his backpack and lunch in the trunk and got into the car, Cody had already changed into his 4 sizes too big purple D-backs jersey, D-backs hat, purple socks, and black Knickers baseball pants because we love the high socks look. "Okay, Daddy," Cody said, "I'm ready." What could possibly make this game, this day, this moment any more special? As we walked up to the fields, I noticed that one of SARRC's therapists, Sienna, was standing just outside the gates. "What are you doing here?" I asked. But before the words had left my mouth, the answer hit me like a ton of bricks. There, on the other team, was one of our community school graduates with autism, warming up for his first Little League game with his dad. For many people with disabilities, low expectations can often be more debilitating than the disability itself, which may lead to the sobering outcomes we see in autism nationally. 1 in every 68 children is diagnosed with autism, most of whom don't have access to a high-quality treatment program. Each year, 50,000 children transition to adulthood, yet nearly half of 25-year-olds have never held a paying job, and just 19% live independently after high school. Yet at SARRC, for over 20 years, we've shown that there is hope in an autism diagnosis. Rooted in research, we've implemented evidence-based practices, transferring them from the laboratory to the community with integrity to deliver positive outcomes. And because we recognized early on that children with autism become adults with autism, we've been incubating adult services for over 11 years, demonstrating that adults with autism are employable and can learn to live independently. But we've had one secret ingredient: you, this community, the most autism-friendly in the world. Many of you have been with us year after year, bright and early for these breakfasts, and certainly not for the food. But to learn about autism and how you can get involved. You've opened doors for us. You've volunteered. You've hired an adult with autism, and you've invested in impactful programs that improve the lives of individuals with autism and their families. So in honor of SARRC's 20th annual community breakfast, let's work together towards a vision for SARRC's next 20 years. With you, we can redefine early in early intervention. Research strongly indicates that early intervention is associated with optimal outcomes. Yet the average age of diagnosis in Arizona is still 4 years, 7 months. And families can wait 6 to 12 months just for a diagnostic appointment, losing critical time to change the course of their child's development. That's why SARRC has invested considerable resources into accelerating the early identification of autism. As you heard from Dr. Smith, next month we'll begin our infant eye tracking study. Our research team has also co-developed NODA, an app that allows parents to securely share home videos using their smartphones with a psychologist who can make a diagnosis. And 3 years ago, we launched our network of 110 pediatricians who universally screen every 12, 18, and 24-month-old in their practice. To date, we've conducted over 45,000 screenings and offer free evaluations to any child showing signs of autism. We need to become the first state in the nation with universal screening and immediate referral for diagnosis, the standard of care in pediatrician offices. We also need to recognize that the earlier we start intervention, the less a child can be delayed. As you heard from Brian Kelly, we're working with babies as young as 6 months in our Milestones program, potentially preventing the onset of autism symptoms or at the very least decreasing their severity. Together, we'll replace "let's wait and see" with "let's get started and monitor." With you, we can leverage innovative programs. SARRC families have access to the most extraordinarily talented clinical team, but the problem is too many children, teens, and adults don't. Our response to 1 in 68 is an entrepreneurial approach to creating, testing, and leveraging SARRC programs. For instance, our Think Asperger's app, launched at last year's breakfast to help identify children with Asperger's, has now been downloaded nearly 5,000 times in 10 different countries. We now offer Jumpstart Online, e-learning modules of our flagship program for newly diagnosed families, increasing and improving accessibility. Our teen program, Community Works, is now operating nationwide in Canada. And we've opened our first expansion site of the community school in Tempe and are already working on a third location for 2019. Imagine if every family in Arizona could access a SARRC program, either in their neighborhood or online. And consider the communities we can help build with the children, teens, and adults without autism in our programs, like Matilda, who are future friends on the playground, teammates on sports teams, coworkers, and employers. With you, we can teach people with autism in the community. If the long-term goal is for people with autism to live in the community, then they need to develop skills in the community, and it's our partnerships with this community that enable them to do so. Nearly 20 Community Works partners provide pre-employment opportunities for our teens. Thanks to our 45 employment partners across 60 locations, 75% of the adults with autism we serve are competitively employed. As you saw in our video, the students in our Transition Academy take their independent living courses at Gateway Community College. And while she deserves our utmost admiration, when First Place opens its apartments for adults with autism this July, our fearless co-founder, Denise Resnick, would humbly tell you that it would not have been possible without so many supportive partners in this community. A supportive community is about having high expectations for people with autism by giving them community-based opportunities to learn and then providing the individualized supports they need to participate fully in the classroom, compete on the field, and be productive at work. And a supportive community is about everyday, lasting, meaningful opportunities that create independence. With you, we can dream big for individuals with autism and their families. When SARRC was founded 21 years ago, parents were often told to prepare their child for institutionalization, not Little League. Today, they're playing baseball, going to birthday parties, and having sleepovers. They're enjoying high school football games, exchanging text messages with their friends, and going to prom. They are working, dating, and living on their own. With you, we've made once unimaginable dreams realistic possibilities. Just consider Jensen's dad and what it must have meant to him to be on the field for his son's first Little League baseball game. At this point, I'm guessing that the dreams he has for Jensen aren't all that different than the dreams any of us have for our kids. Same goes for Jensen. At 6 years old, he may dream of being a policeman, a firefighter, or even a baseball player. And who knows, earlier this month, the Kansas City Royals signed Tarek El-Abor, the first pro baseball player with autism, to a minor league contract. With you, anything is possible. Thank you. Speaking of dreaming big, 3 years ago, we embarked on a journey in partnership with our new sister nonprofit, First Place, on a program called the First Place Transition Academy. The goal? To teach adults with autism how to live independently within 2 years. Shortly after starting the program, we introduced you to Ian McCoy, who charmed the crowd with his wit and determination for a brighter future. With you, Ian became one of the first graduates of the Transition Academy and has returned this morning to update us all on living independently, his new job, and Plan A. It is truly my pleasure to welcome to the stage the one, the only, Ian McCoy.